You're listening to the Tribe Nail Tech podcast, where nail techs find inspiration and motivation to take their career to the next level. We welcome you here. Now tribe up and slay your day. Here is your host, Becky Bunnell.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of the Tribe Nail Tech podcast. I'm your host, Becky Bunnell, and today's episode is sponsored by Sojel Nails. Don't forget to head on over to sojelnails.com/contest to enter for today's giveaway. Oh my goodness. Guys, today I have a special guest here. This is Jessica Briarmoon. Hey, Jessica.
Hi, everyone.
I am so glad you're on here today. As you can tell, her background is nail camp. So today's episode is going to be about nail camp because it's such an amazing event that I was like, you know what? We got to get you on here. Oh my gosh, the cup and everything. She's got swag and everything. But I was like, we got to get you on here because I went to nail camp in 2019 as an educator. I went to East and West, and it is an experience like no other. And so I really am passionate about it, and I want to let everybody know just kind of everything about it. But first off, Jessica, I want you to give a little bio to everybody out here. Tell us about yourself, where you're located, how long you've been in the industry, family, whatever you want to tell us. Like, the spotlight's on you. Let's go for it, Jessica.
Hi. Okay, so I am located near Seattle, Washington, just north of it. So I'm in one of the suburbs. I've been here for a little over 20 years. I came back after going to college and decided to do nails. I actually graduated, I think, 20 years ago tomorrow. I think tomorrow is my 20-year anniversary of my life. I know, it's crazy. I think it was February 11th. So anyway,
nice.
About 20 years, almost on the dot. So I've been doing nails almost 20 years. And I started out pretty quick going to do competitions and going to trade shows. And luckily I've always been kind of a computer geek. And so I was on Beauty Tech forever and was able to connect with people on there. That was the old school way of doing it before Facebook existed. It was
before YouTube and all that. Yeah.
Before YouTube, it was a message board, and you could go through and people would ask questions and you reply. There's like not many pictures. You'd see a couple pictures here and there, but it was mostly just nail techs talking all the time. So I was on there a lot, and so I would go to the shows and get to meet people there, which was great. Me and one of my old friends, we had been to a lot of shows over the years, and about 10 years ago, we were just it was sad because you go to a show and you would see people that didn't know anybody, and they would be sitting by themselves, and you go to dinner with people that you've met, that you've seen, and you get to know them, and you see someone over at another table by themselves, and you're like, I know I saw them on the show floor, and they're sitting by themselves, and it was sad. Or you'd sit with all your friends to eat, and one person would be like, I'm just ordering water because I spent all my money at the show and I have no money for dinner. So we were like, there's got to be a better way, because that one person sitting by themselves, they've got to pay for their own hotel and their own, meals, and they're sitting by themselves. And if they're a little bit shy, they don't know anybody, and it's a little bit harder. So I grew up going to church camp every year, my whole life since I was in elementary school. And I loved it. It was like my favorite thing. I'm like, I'm going to be a camp counselor someday. That'll be so fun. And so I thought, why don't we use, a camp platform and bring everybody to camp? So I started searching, and Camp Burton is on Vashon Island, just outside of Seattle. You take a ferry. So for Grey's Anatomy fans, it's the same little ferry. You take over to the island. We found that camp there and worked with them and got it started there. And the nice thing about camp is that your lodging's included, your meals are included, everyone's eating together, and it's a very self-contained place. So instead of everyone separating and going and do their own thing every night after a trade show, everyone's together all night. We're doing campfire. We're doing, people are in the playroom. We always try to have a playroom where people can do nails until 2:00 in the morning if they want, which some of our educators, beloved, will even be in there with them and doing nails and helping do one-on-one. And so it goes almost 24/7 for like 4 days. And, because we're doing a facility that's not like a fancy resort, we can keep it really inexpensive, which is the goal. And so I started planning that with her about 10 years ago. And then in 2017, that was the last time I did that with her there. And then I kind of branched out and rebranded and have been bringing it around the country, because part of the problem is that Vashon is like in one area and people all over the rest of the country were like, please come here and do it here. And so I started traveling and doing it. And now we've done Idaho and Maryland and Georgia, and we're going down to Florida this year. And then it was supposed to be our 10-year anniversary last year. of me doing this. So I was going to do it on Vashon, 2020 hit. And
2020.
so it got pushed from October and then to April. It was supposed to be in April, but our governor here is so slow opening anything up. So it is pushed again to October here on Vashon Island. But I added Florida in May because everyone on the East Coast is so ready and Florida's been open the whole time. So we are going to take advantage of it and go to Florida.
Yes,
So,
I can't wait. Yes.
yeah. So I've been doing nails forever. I own lovenails.com. So I have my own YouTube channel where I do nails every day in the salon still. I'm one of the only distributors I know out there that kind of is crazy and does that all the time. But I do nails every day, which allows me to play with the product and learn new products. And so my videos that I did 2 years ago, I'm using the same product line, but different products and different techniques than I do now because new things come out and I change the way I do things and I can figure out how to make it faster and more efficient and last better, longer. I'm going to do it. And so I always tell people, I'm like, okay, if you watch my videos and they're 2 years ago, you might see different techniques than what you're seeing now because things change. They change all the time. So I just do it in the salon on real clients. People will be like, can you show this? And I'm like, well, if someone comes in and asks for it, because I don't plan my videos. I just, if someone comes in and I'm like, hey, you want to go on video today? And they're like, sure. And so I'll flip it on and it'll go live on Facebook and then I put it on YouTube. So I've been doing that. And that's been really helpful to a lot of people that can't get to education, if they live out in the country and they're like, I at least get to see videos and it's really nice.
Yeah.
So
especially now, a lot of stuff has had to happen online, of course, how everything has crazy year. But I really, really want to go in depth about nail camps. So, because going myself, I have to admit, like for years, I've been doing nails for 28 years, and I seen years ago this nail camp, and I kept watching, and every year I'd go on the website and I would dream and I'd go, oh, it was on my bucket list for so long. I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. But same thing. I was like, I don't want to go by myself. At first I was just kind of like shy about it. Oh, how would I do this? Kept wanting to do it. And then became an educator for Sojel and then got invited to come and educate. And I was really nervous because I was like, okay, I mean, I've done the trade shows. I know how those work, but I didn't know how this thing that lasted 3-4 days, like, how does this work? What do you do? And it's so cool because, like I said, our booths are set up the whole entire time. Free classes, which are demos. We have 1-hour classes. Is that right? Or are those the demos? The 1-hour classes.
Those are the demo classes.
The 1 hour for the demos,
five of
the
those.
3 hours, and then we have Mondays, the long class.
Full day workshop, yeah.
Yeah, 5 to 8 workshop. But there's so many other parts of it, but those booths stay up the whole time. So basically, as an educator, I'm educating the whole time. But it's so cool because you eat together. You're all sleeping. Like, of course, there's different rooms and so many nail techs in a room, but you can ask to just room with random people. You can ask to room with people and then you set up teams and you do games. Like, it's the ultimate, such a fun experience. And I have met so many people and nail techs and got to hang out with so many other educators. I mean, I remember in Georgia, the educators' rooms, we had like this big long deck on the back. And literally that night, we're all just hanging out there under the stars, shooting the breeze all together, all of the educators that many of them I've looked up to my whole career. And I was just in awe and going, I'm really sitting here with so-and-so and so. It's like, what's happening right now? And we're all just talking and laughing and having a good time. So, oh my gosh, kudos to you, Jessica, because there is nothing like this in the industry so far. So talk about it. Where can they get the information? Explain camp kind of in more detail, because I know you get tons of questions. She has a Facebook page just for the camp, which tell them more that is so they can get on that for one, and just explain in details of how it works so that people kind of understand it a little bit more and kind of clears up some of the information.
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, the website for the basic, all the information where you can find all your class information, registration. There's a frequently asked questions page. This year, because of it being an hour from Orlando, a lot of nail techs are going to do Disney the day after. So there's even a page about Disney. And if you want to wear a fun nail camp shirt, At Disney, even that is on there. So that website is nailcamp.org. It's just one word, nailcamp.org. And then if you're on Facebook, this is a really important place to go to kind of keep up on what's going on throughout the time leading up to camp. And that's Nail Camp USA. And the reason I did that is because I've had some people start copying Nail Camp around the world. One of them, like the website was almost my exact copy. It was a little bit weird. So I made sure that the Facebook page is Nail Camp USA. So you can join on there, and people right now are talking about flying in, they can carpool. And so teaming up on like one rental car, and that way they can get to camp and things like that. So those are getting posted on there. So you're not alone when you are on going to camp. You can really connect with people before you even go, and people make really amazing lifelong friends.
Yeah.
And so you can get on the Facebook page and talk about that kind of thing. When you jump on the website, you can see all the information. And if you have any questions, there's a contact page on there, and you can always shoot me an email and I'll be happy to answer there as well. And if you are on the Nail Camp USA page and you ask questions, I mean, someone even was like, I'm going and I'm 49. Is anyone in my age? So there's no questions that are really off limits. You can come in and just get to know people and kind of get an idea of what it's about. When we started it, Becky Peters was one of my good friends. I got to cruise with her and everything. And she was a very pivotal part of getting camp started. And so one of the main things that we wanted to do was educate to people about their nails in the salon. There's classes about nail art, there's classes about competition nails, there's classes about business. But what really can be important is when you do nails in the salon, how can you improve those nails? What do you improve? How do you know what you need to improve? So we worked with Becky for many years to manufacture a class that was really unique to Nail Camp. And that starts out on Friday. So when people arrive to camp, you do registration, you get your cabin assignments, your book and your team. You get to pick your team buff. That started with Survivor year, actually. So one year our theme was Survivor. And so we were like, we should do buffs. And so we did. And it became such a fun hit that we do it every year now because of that. But that's where the buff started, was that year. I think that
Well,
was
and now we might be pulling it up over our noses for our face.
We did it in Maryland because Maryland wasn't super mask heavy either. So some people wore them, but not everybody. Nobody got sick, so it was great.
Right on.
Yeah, it was fine. But you get your registration packet, and then you get to have some lunch and kind of mingle with people. But then that first class, it does a couple of things. It's a person-to-person class. So you will sit across from another nail tech, whether it's someone you know or a complete stranger. And we have typically a gel room and an acrylic room. So if you are doing gel, you're in a room that's not going to be smelling like acrylic, because I know some people are sensitive to that, separate from an acrylic room. So first we do a theory part for about an hour so that people can get an idea of what is the proper structure, what is the proper shape of a nail, just very basic. It's all non-product specific. So we do about an hour theory, and we've had some great educators. Of course, Becky did it for all the years until she passed away. And then Lauren Wireman's been amazing doing it. Lise Comfort's doing it. And I believe Lise Comfort is probably going to be the one doing it in Florida.
Okay.
She may or may not be doing it with Anna Wislinska. If we can get her to come, we're working on it. So it might be the two of them. They're very close, and they'll be coming together. So that's who's going to be doing it there. And so it's very set up, and it's in a way so that it can just help you in the salon. It's not going into anything fancy.
Yeah.
And the last time Lisa did it, she actually thought she was supposed to be teaching in competition styles. So we had a little talk. So it's going to be it's more based on salon nails, what you're doing in the salon. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We're trying to just look at your nails and show you what you you don't see. So that's the theory. And yeah, very basic. And so you split up, and it's gel and acrylic, different classes. And then we have Allie Baker in the acrylic room, and she's super helpful, making sure that people are going through and, understanding how this works. And so it goes one nail at a time. So you're sitting across from another nail tech and one person starting, and you do one nail and you raise your hand. And an educator is going to be walking around, and all the educators from camp volunteer to help this class. So it's a free class, it's included, and the educators will come around and they're only going to critique one thing. It's one thing at a time. So each nail, they're just looking at one thing, whether it's the shape, the smile line, the arch. They're looking at one thing. And so you're not being bombarded with, oh, do this and this and this and this and this on one nail. They're telling you just to fix one thing. And by the time you get to the fourth nail, and we are only going to do 4 nails in this class, by the time you get to the fourth nail, you've been able to focus on proper shape. You've been able to focus on what you needed to fix with your smile line. You've been able to focus on what you needed with, your sidewalls, your arch, but you've been able to do it in a slower fashion that people see a dramatic difference on their last nail versus their first nail. And because they've had different educators walking around, they've gotten to know some educators. They've been able to sit and chat with the person that they maybe didn't come with, that they've never met before. And they really get to know somebody else at camp during this process. And a lot of people will end this class and say, that was worth the whole weekend.
Yeah.
My nails look so much better after that class. And now I see what I didn't know. Or they had seen it, but they didn't know how to fix it.
Yeah.
And so the educators walking around will say, okay, your sidewalls tend to do this. So let me show you how to bring it up and make it completely straight. And they'll show them right there, one-on-one, how to fix that problem. Now they have that skill forever. And they now know how to fix that problem maybe that they've had a long time. So that is the Friday workshop. And it's about 5-6 hours, and it takes that long for you to do your 4 nails and the other person that you're sitting with to do their 4 nails. So everybody's going to come in with at least like one hand free, because those nails are going to be done during this time.
Oh, can I just say something like, don't come to nail shows with nails on. Why do we do that? We think we need to impress other nail techs. Come with your nails naked. You can't get what you need out of those nail classes if you come with nails. Like, you need naked nails. Please come with naked nails.
Naked nails. And the only people that should come with any nails on is an educator. If you're not educating, you should be getting demos and nails done the whole time on a show. And you need to take advantage of it, because it's a marketing thing after you leave. One of my favorite things after I come back from a show was being like, I have kaleidoscope nails. That's what I call them, kaleidoscope nails, because I might have French on this one and this one, but I have glitter on this one and something else on this one. And so they're completely different shapes, different colors. Right. And people will stop and be like, so can I ask you what's going on with your nails? Like, oh, I'm a nail tech, and I go and get higher education. And these are some classes that I attended or some events I attended. And they're like, oh, do you have information? Because it's a marketing thing, and you need to take advantage of that when you go home. Don't take them off right away. Give it a couple of weeks. Yeah. And nowadays it's a little bit tricky because we're not really going a lot of places. But people will see it, or your clients will see it and be like, oh, that's cool. Did you learn how to do that? Can you do that on me? And it gives you a way to practice it, because so often we go to a class or we go to a camp and we learn how to do a technique, and then the supplies sit in the drawer and we forget how to do it, and we didn't get a chance to practice it. But if you're wearing a demo nail with that on there and one of your clients sees it and say, can you practice that on me? Then it gives you a chance to practice it. You may not be able to have time to do all 10, but give them an accent nail of that one nail that you want to practice from a class or from camp. And it gives you a chance to get it kind of in your brain, and it really helps. So embrace the kaleidoscope nails after camp.
And another thing, Jessica, is just for yourself, if you're going to different booths and seeing the different products and you're getting them demoed, then you can go back and 3 weeks later, you can look at the longevity of that product. Did it stay well on you? And then that might be something that's like, you know what? I need to look further into that product, because wow, it's still on me. It's not lifting. Look at the clarity of it. Look, and then it just helps, like, you know what I'm saying? It's just, I don't know. I love that. I did a show once and I did a nail on somebody, just a demo pinky. Literally 2 months later, it was a guy. He reached out to me, and it was at the Sacramento Nail Pro Show. And he was like, I still have that pinky on and it is not budging. It is so good. Like, I need to know more about this product. So there you go right there. Like, take advantage and go to all the different products and get them put on your fingers, because then you see how they work. And if it's something that you're going to want to incorporate into your clientele. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so after that big long class, then
after that class, so we do dinner, and then that night is campfire night. So we've played with different nights having campfire, and we just by necessity in Idaho, we had to have it on Friday night. And we normally hadn't. We had normally done it on like Saturday or Sunday night, but it was going to be like 20 degrees colder. So we were like, let's do it Friday night. So we pushed it to Friday night, and it was perfect because all these people that were brand new, didn't know anybody, came together and they got to hang out at the campfire and get to know each other. And so it is now a staple on Friday night. So it's absolutely never changing. It was so great. And now it's been a perfect thing. And it's also helpful because people aren't brain dead yet. Because by the second and third night, they're so tired from all the classes that
like,
getting out of the campfire is a little like, are you kidding? Yeah. I'm tired. I want to go in and go to sleep.
Yeah. So it's a good icebreaker on Friday night. That's perfect.
It's a really great icebreaker. So we do s'mores. We have all the stuff out there, including peanut butter cup s'mores, because that's fantastic. And so we have all the stuff out there to do s'mores. And then classes start on Saturday morning with, I might start with the 1 hours or the workshop, something like that. The itinerary is online, so you can see exactly what your schedule would be throughout the weekend. You're not going to know what classes you're going to be picking for your 1 hour classes until you get your book at camp. So that schedule comes out and you'll be able to choose that when you get to camp, which is kind of fun because people get back to their room, they open up their book, they're hanging out with their new friend or one of the friends that they came, and they decide, what are you going to take? What are you going to take? And it's kind of like choosing classes in college where you're picking which ones you can pick for each class that you want to take. Your 3 hour classes, you get 2 of those. Those you're going to have planned out ahead of time typically. And you'll get links for those. The links for those classes will be up by the end of February. We want to make sure that we have all the class information from everybody. Some of them are still changing. Allie's classes, I think, that are up right now are from last year. So she just sent me all the new ones. So I'm going to be updating that with all of her new classes. So all the classes will be updated and all the links will be released at the same time. And that way you can choose, okay, these are all the classes available. Which 2 3 hour classes am I going to want? You're going to get one on Saturday and one on Sunday. And then you'll be able to, it'll just intersect with the different 1 hour classes. And then you've got a one long class on Monday. And that one's typically 5 to 8 hours. And normally you'll be able to read the description. It'll tell you if it's a shorter class or a longer class. For example, Tiffany Cordoza, she has an earlier flight on Monday, so hers is going to be like a 5 hour class. Whereas some of the classes, like Allie does her troll class most of the time, which people love to take. And that one, those girls are doing those trolls until we kick them out. So they're making little troll families. They're so cute. So it can range depending on what class you choose. And so some people will purposely make sure they choose a shorter class so they don't miss anything because they have an earlier flight or something like that.
Right.
And then the last component of camp is competition. And it's a very fun competition. It's not like your nail pro competition or your nail Olympics competition, which I've been a part of both. It is a very relaxed competition. So we have a gel manicure or sculpture nail competition, and it's just salon style. It's one hand. So the reason we do one hand is because if you don't have a model, which most people are not going to have a model, because we encourage everybody to do this. So you're going to do your own hand. So you're going to take your non-dominant hand and you're going to do it so that you can do your own set. So that allows you to practice at home if you want, but you're going to be able to take the stuff that you learned on Friday's class and apply it to what you're doing in competition. If you just learned how to properly get an arch in the nail, practice it. It's a good way to practice. And the score sheet, you're actually going to get a score sheet on that class on Friday. The last nail you do, the educator walking around to critique that nail is going to do a written critique for you. And that's so that you have something to take with you so that you can go, okay, my best scoring is my smile line. So I guess I don't really need to work on that quite so much, but my arch placement may be a little bit off. So maybe that's what I need to work on. So you're going to get a score sheet that kind of gives you an idea of what you still need to work on. That score sheet is the exact same score sheet we have in competition on Sunday. So it's not, again, we're not reinventing the wheel. It's not a competition set of nails. You're not trying to make them super long and like the 1-to-1 ratio and all the stuff that you have to do in a nail pro competition. This is just a salon set of nails, and we're just going to critique it. And if you happen to get the best critique, you're going to get a medal and money. Because
it's just to help you. It's just to help you. It's not
just to help.
Right. Don't be scared of it, because everybody that was scared to do those competitions, listening to the other nail techs, they were so glad they did it afterwards, because they were like, I got so much feedback that I can take back and I can be a better nail tech because I did the competition and I had these instructors critiquing my work. And yeah, it's scary and intimidating maybe, but you'll be so glad you did it because like you said, it's low key. It's a stress-free competition, but it's so valuable.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that you're not going to stress because everybody goes into it and just the word competition freaks them out. It'd be great if we had another word for it, but people stress out. But you get an hour and a half to do one hand.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and if you never, ever, ever sculpt a nail and you're like, I don't sculpt a nail and I don't want to be a model, I'd like to do something. We do have a gel manicure section. So you don't want as much money. And we have to have at least 3 people competing in gel manicure for us to even do that one. We've had to drop it before because there's only one person that was going to do gel manicure. And we're like, we don't have enough people to do that competition. So you're going to have to sculpt a nail, which is great. I'm glad that people went to what they're doing in the salon because that's really what they can improve on. But in Georgia, we had quite a few that did gel manicure. And the one that won gel manicure, because there's no divisional, it's not novice and veteran, it's everybody's in one division. She had never done a gel manicure on anybody ever. And she won.
So still an apprentice?
She had never done it on anybody. Oh yeah, she was in school. She had just started. Yeah, she had just started. And so we're all really excited for her. She did a great job. And it's like, all right, you did good. You're on a really good path right now.
Yeah.
So don't be scared to do it. And it's just going to give you feedback. And feedback is what it's about. It's improving your skills. So when you go home, you have new skills to work with. And when you get your score sheet, if you're like, I don't understand this score, well, you don't have to like drag a model if you've done it on yourself. You can take your score sheet. And when you're at dinner that night, go sit with one of the educators who maybe scored that and say, can you explain to me why this is that score? And they'll be happy to help. Yeah. That's the thing about the educators that come to Nail Tech. They're all very, very giving. Most of them are not getting paid by any companies to be there and teach. They are there to help. And the class fee that they have on their workshops is very small because I ask them, please keep your class fees very low. Some of them do it for free, but it's very low. And basically those class fees are just to cover them getting there because they've got to get their own flight and they have to pay to be there at the event and have their booth space. So it's not that they're there to, critique you in a bad way. They're there because they legitimately want to help you get better and improve your career. Right. So thank those educators that are coming to camp because it's a very different scenario than at a trade show. At a trade show, everybody's getting paid for by the company, but at camp, they're getting themselves there and they're sacrificing their own time to be there. So it makes for a much more homey feeling way because everyone wants the same thing. They want to be there and love on you.
Exactly. And so you talk about teams, she splits you into teams. You have some nights that you sit, I think maybe only one night you sit with your team.
2 nights. Two nights with teams.
So, and we recommend too, when you're eating and stuff, like sit with different people every time, like at different meals, lunch and stuff, just rotate and sit with other people. I loved that and got to know a lot more people. But they have games and then they have wonderful like drawings and giveaways. The sponsors, like, okay, talk about the swag bag.
Oh my goodness. So one of the big tips for coming to nail camp is pack a bag in a bag. Oh. So a lot of people will pack a suitcase and then like a duffel bag and they'll pack their clothes in the duffel bag or something like that because not only is there shopping all weekend long, I have the Love Nails booth, which means I have accents and ugly duckling and clear jelly stamper and uber chic and profile stuff. Like I have so many products and then you've got every other booth. And so there's shopping all weekend. So you're going to be taking home deals because everybody offers everything at a deal at camp. So you're shopping, but then you have this swag bag. And you know what? If you give me 1 second, I can show you.
Go for it. Oh gosh, the swag bag, people. And it is true. You have to. The last day I remember packing up and I was like, okay, how am I going to get all this stuff home, right? So you're trying to like shove everything in your suitcase. So be prepared to, like she said, have an extra bag. And the sponsors are so generous. And so sometimes even if the sponsors are different companies, look at that. Even if they can't be there at nail camp, they send stuff to Jessica to put in the bag. So there was lots of products that weren't even there.
Yeah, I save my bag every year. And part of the reason is because for the 10-year anniversary, I want to show all the bags that have been donated over the years. So I've saved my bag and sacrificed myself getting to play with it. So I'll play with everyone else's stuff at camp and be like, what'd you get? What are you going to do? But I always save one. So this one's 2019. This one's a little bit older. This one is all the way back 2011. So this one's almost 10 years old. But I mean, they are heavy, and I've weighed them. They can come in easily at 20 pounds per bag. So we're talking about all kinds of goodies. And I mean, it's Build Soft Landings donates every year, and we have these at the tables for doing stuff. And I mean, it's just
there's so much.
So much.
And then you also get a camp shirt, or you have the option of doing a hoodie. I think this year you did hats, or 2020 you were supposed to do hats at the last one. So I mean, you get that. That's included. Your food's included. Your lodging is included. Like I said, the free classes, the competition, that class the first day is all included. Like, oh, it is so worth it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very exciting thing. The raffle prize, I didn't even talk about those.
Yeah.
So these companies will send something for everybody in the swag bag, but then they'll also send a kit or an item, an electric file. Wow. We've had kits with lamps that are worth $500 that we were able to give away at a meal. So we have big prizes. We have some small prizes. We give away about 5 to 6 raffle prizes at every meal, 10 meals. Yeah. So 50 to 60 raffle prizes over the course of the weekend are given out on top of the swag bag. So you get to go home with stuff. It's very rare that you're getting to have nothing that you're going home with. You know, there's always big winners. Every year there's somebody who puts a magic spell on their tickets and they somehow get more than one prize, but it's rare. Normally it's pretty spread out. But yeah, there's always somebody that we're like, again, you won again.
You won again, you lucky sucker. I know.
I know. So jealous.
I know, right? There was even worship on Sunday morning if anyone wanted to attend it, because it does go through Monday. But I know you had Amy Becker. 2019 though, when I went, I think she was one of them that did the worship, and Lauren Wireman, and we're singing and doing all that. So I mean, that's even unique and fun.
Yeah, we even have typically a worship service on Sunday morning. And so Lauren, the last couple of years, has been able to come at camp, every camp, and she lives in Florida, and it really will depend. She's in the process of adopting 4 girls. So it really will depend on if she's able to go pick her girls up or not, whether she'll be there with us. But we have a wildflowers team. So the classes right now just say by wildflowers. So we wanted a wildflowers educator. If she can be there, she will be. But if she can't, I'm going to be looking for a new worship leader.
Or somebody else. It's just so unique. Jessica, it's so cool that you're doing this. And like I said, I try to promote this and tell people, like, you've got to get to nail camp, because it's like nothing in the industry that's out there. And it's just so stinking fun. Oh, why don't you talk about the rooms? Like, so typically how many stay in a room? How many roommates are in a room?
So each camps are typically cabins, and Maryland was a little bit different. So for any of my people that are watching that have only been to Maryland, Maryland was very fancy. There is no other facility I've found in the country that is like Maryland. Maryland, there was only a couple people, I think 2 to 3 people in a room, and it was more like a hotel room. This is not the norm for camps. So I'm telling you that right now. It's going to be a little bit of awakening when you go to real camp. So normally at camp, you are in cabins, and I try to keep it to around 4 to 6 ladies per cabin. And I keep it to the bottom bunks. So you'll be in a cabin and there might be 8 bunks, and I'll try to have a maximum of 8 people in there. But most of the time, if I can, I keep it more to around 6 people. And I make it so that nobody should have to be on a top bunk. I do have on the questionnaire when you register, if you don't mind being on the top bunk. So then I know, okay, that cabin, if I need to, I can put one more person in, because I think at this facility, most of the cabins only have 6 beds. So that would be a maximum of 6 people if everybody was on a bottom bunk. But if someone says they don't mind being on a top bunk, then I know, okay, that cabin can have 7 if need be. So it kind of just makes a difference, you know, when I'm assigning room assignments. So you have the cabins, and all the meals are included, and all these classes. And I should talk a little bit about price. So typically camp is only $4.99 to $5.50. So typically West Coast is a little bit less expensive than us getting to the East Coast. Part of that's because we have to drive everything from Seattle to Florida. My lovely husband is going to be driving for about a week each way to get everything to camp. Some of that's bedding because people flying in are renting bedding, and we have a limited supply. So I've got to check. We might have already even had that much. We might have to get more because the facilities don't have bedding. So that is important to know that when you come to camp, if you are driving and you need to bring your own bedding because you'll need towels. You'll need, if you want to bring a sleeping bag, you just sleeping bag and a pillow. You can bring sheets and a comforter. Some will go and even if they fly in, some will head over to Walmart and they'll get the foam mattress thing just so that they get some extra cushion because they're bunk beds. Like they're not going to be super fabulous beds. Sorry to tell you, it's just not. So some people will go and spend $20 and get themselves a little foam cushion so that they get a little bit better sleep. And that's totally fine. But you're not there to sleep. And there's not going to be a lot of it because I can tell you, everyone is up late. And by the end of the fourth day, you're going to be tired. And that's why it's going to be kind of nice to have that Disney day on Tuesday because we're all just going to be like, oh, brain can relax and we can just go have some fun for a day, which will be really great. But yeah, it's typically $500 to $550 for the whole weekend. That includes your lodging for 3 nights. It includes 10 meals and classes. So think of a class like, say, your guys' class, your class with you and Amy is, I think, $450 for 2 days, which is not abnormal. That is pretty normal for 2 days of classes.
Yeah.
But when you think of camp, you're paying $550 and you're getting all the meals, all the lodging, and classes included. You might have a little bit extra if you choose classes that have a small additional fee. Right. But for the most part, you're paying a very, very low price to be able to get there and experience camp. So
yeah, and like you said, the educators are like, because typically my Sojel class is like $299. Well, at camp, it's the same class, but it's only $150 because I know that you're putting out the expense for nail camp. You have to buy the ticket to be at nail camp. And so all of us educators, I'm sure, because some educators can charge $5.99 for 1 day of a class, which I've seen that out there on our little nail world. And but like you said, you're getting the whole camp experience for that same price. And then if you want to buy those other claims, you're getting them at a huge discount. You really are. So
and there's always free ones. So if the only thing you can afford is to get there for that $550 and that's it, you're like, I can't pay for another class, or I don't want to pay for another class, there are always free classes available. So you can definitely do that. But yeah, Lauren Wireman, I believe her classes are less than half. And so mine are always free, and mine are normally a couple $100 for a class a day. So you're definitely getting a huge deal on top of being there and having all those expenses paid for to be there.
You will learn plenty. If you can't afford to buy any of the add-on classes, it is still well worth it because you get all of those other things included, and well worth it for sure.
Yeah. And this year in Florida, we're putting together something a little bit different for our Spanish speaking nail techs. So because we're in Florida and we are, near Puerto Rico, I have a lot of people that I work with in Puerto Rico. And one of the educators here in Washington who works with Clear Jelly Stamper is from the same town that my grandparents are from. I'm Puerto Rican. I know you can't tell, but I'm half Puerto Rican. And my grandparents are from Maguez. And so she's also from that city. And so we started talking and I'm like, hey, you should come do camp. And so she's going to be kind of my right hand to help translate anything in Spanish. So Eileen's done the amazing commercial that we have for camp. Did you see that? It's so cute, the 20s commercial. So she did that, and we have a Spanish version that's going to go out. And so I'm putting together a schedule so that every class time there is a Spanish class hopefully available as well. So that if you are a Spanish speaking nail tech and you do much better if you're at a Spanish class, that is also going to be available. So Jesse speaks Spanish. So he's doing his 2 1-hour classes. He's doing them in English and he's doing them in Spanish. The Clear Jelly Stamper educator, she's doing her 3-hour workshop in English and in Spanish. And then I have an educator for Luxio that's going to be coming and doing her full day class from Puerto Rico. So I've invited her to come and enjoy. And she doesn't speak a lot of great English. So she's going to be able to work with me and my translator a little bit, but she's going to be able to be there for the Spanish speakers as well. So I wanted to do something because we're going to be in Florida and there are so many Spanish speaking nail techs in Florida to help bring them in and make them feel more comfortable and still be able to take classes and enjoy nail camp as well. So that's going to be a little different in Florida. It's not going to be like that at every camp, but it's a unique thing for the one in May.
So awesome. Okay, guys, so make sure that you go onto that Facebook page because there are people that are starting to post, hey, I'm flying in at this time. I need somebody to share a rental car with me. Is anyone else arriving at the airport at the same time? Is there anyone out there that wants to carpool? Maybe get the hotel for Thursday night somewhere. Then, like you said, you can add on going to Disney World on Tuesday if you want to. So then there's also you can stay and pay an extra night for Monday night.
Yeah, you can come in and stay at camp Thursday night or Monday night. They're $50 a night to stay each night. So you can choose to do that. Or if you go to the Disney page on the Nail Camp website, I think it says Disney at Nail Camp or something like that. That has a link at the bottom to the hotel that I'm personally staying at after camp, Tuesday night after we do Disney. I'll stay at camp on Thursday and on Monday just so that if anyone's staying there, I'm there. But that hotel is under $100 a night. So if you have two people, you might spend less staying at that hotel than you would actually staying at camp. And that's near the airport as well. I think it's Fairfield by Marriott. And until that one fills up, that's a really good option, really high reviews and everything. And so if you're coming in the night before or you're staying the night after, that's a great place that you can choose to stay. Disney, you want to get your own tickets. I did want to clarify that. That's not part of the package. I don't manage any of that. I just am letting people know if you want to do Disney, you want to buy your own Disney ticket on the Disney website and make your reservation for what park you want to go in. I'm personally going to Hollywood Studios. If you haven't been yet, it is amazing. I'm not a huge Star Wars fan. My husband is, my daughter is. I'm like, it's cool. But the land is really cool. You feel like you are stepping into like the movie. They did such an amazing job. And the big ride is really cool. So I'm like, let's go back to that one. And that one can be a little bit difficult to get into if you wait too long to get your reservation. All of the parks have reservations right now so that they don't reach their maximum. Now, if you get a ticket for Disney and you go to make the reservation for the park and it says it's full, let me know because I can add you on my reservation. So nobody has to be left out at all. But make sure you get your own Disney ticket because I'm not managing.
I'm responsible for that.
I've learned to not manage everything because at the beginning I used to organize people's flights and everything. And I'm like, I can't do it all. It's too much.
I can't.
When it comes to flights, check southwest.com because when you Google flights, a lot of times Southwest doesn't come up in the Google searches, but Southwest flights right now are insanely cheap. So cheap. So check Southwest if you're looking at flights and going, can I afford to do nail camp? Your flight may only cost you $120 round trip right now.
Hopper app I downloaded on my phone, and so it's watching it because I got on there and it looked like it was only like $230 or something for me right now, but it said not to purchase yet because it said in the next couple of weeks it's going to drop again. So there are different things out there that you can kind of watch. So definitely like search around and look because you should be able to get a really good deal right now. And I just really want to put out there that get educated, guys. Do these things. I get so tired of hearing nail techs say, are you going to come to my area? Are you going to travel here? Are you going to travel here? I cannot, if you look in the industry, Jessica, don't you notice though, the ones that you see are going to all the educational things. They're going to the nail shows. They're going to classes. Their careers are just skyrocketing. They advance so far in their work, in their building of their clientele, and just where they are in their career. But if you're going to just, say, oh, I can't afford that, or I can't do this or that, then your prices are probably not where they need to be because you should be able to afford to invest in yourself and continue your education because that's where it's all about. And all of that is a tax write-off. So I get a little bit when I hear so many excuses because really it's just an excuse. It's just a story you're telling yourself that you can't do this or that, but you really can. And I say, be brave, get on the plane, even if you have to go by yourself, guys, be brave because once you get there, we're all family, we're all a tribe, and we're there to support each other. And you will find that support at nail camp. There's nothing like it. People really do want you to succeed. And I can say that I have loved nail camp for that reason, because everybody just wants they want to be helpful. They want to meet you where you're at and help you along your journey. And I just feel like it's such a great family. It just really is. So I applaud
It
you,
is.
Jessica, for everything, all the hard work, because man, you guys, when you go, you will see, like, oh, I can't even imagine behind the scenes. It just takes you, how are you doing that with a full clientele? Because it's just overwhelming.
It's a lot of spreadsheets. I do have a good team. And we have people, I get messages probably a couple times a week from great people who have been and they're like, anything I can do to help, let me know. And, I wish there was, something I could give them to do, but I have a good team. There's a lot of things that I do that I kind of have to do myself for it to be kind of the way that I've done it. It took a number of years. I mean, I've been doing this 10 years now. And I will tell you, it was not as organized at the beginning. We were kind of just throwing things out there. Let's try this, let's try that. And I always do a feedback form on the last day of camp. And it's, what was your favorite class? What class would you like to see here, so that I know who to go after next year?
Right.
How did you like the facility? Things like that. And it over the years, those feedback forms is how we have manufactured the schedule. So a lot of people at the end of it will be like, oh, I wish I could have taken one more workshop. But then if I do that, you eliminate 3 demo classes.
Right.
So then you really don't get to experience the other classes. So it's a very worked schedule. We've worked it in so many different ways to get the itinerary exactly how it is now, that I don't foresee changing it, because it works as best as it can. And we've tried it all the different ways. And so this is really the itinerary that allows you the most opportunities to take the most classes and still have hands-on time to be able to practice and do things like that. So it's a very specific situation. And when you go to a trade show, you only get to take demo classes. You don't get to take hands-on. And when you go and take a hands-on class, you only get to take hands-on class from that one class.
Right.
So having it all in one place where you kind of get to do all of it is one of the things that makes it so unique. And it's also capped. I'm never going to allow camp to get the size of a trade show.
Right.
Typically it's about 125, because we have the Spanish nail techs probably coming in and having kind of their own schedule. I'm allowing this one to go a little bit bigger to 150, and that includes educators. So we're already more than halfway in our English speaking allowance for our attendees. So we're already more than halfway, and registration's been open for 2 weeks.
That's
so
awesome. And Jessica, we
yeah.
didn't even talk about, will you please talk about the mixed media?
Oh,
we didn't even talk about that.
We didn't even talk about that. So yes, you have your competitions where you can do your gel manicure or your sculpture nail, but the other competition is mixed media. And this allows you to be at home and get excited and wait for camp. So every year we have a theme. This year is Prohibition, because we are all
about the theme and the party.
The theme.
Oh my gosh.
So the theme is post-Prohibition, and kind of going with the 20s theme would be hilarious. So I love that. And so it's going to be very flappery. Oh, didn't talk about the costume party either. So going along with the theme, we have a costume party. So on Sunday night, we bring all the educators and their booths in one big room. So it's like a trade show, so you can do shopping, but everybody dresses up, and it is so much fun. And so this year the theme is Prohibition. So I expect to see lots of flappers and some great dresses. And Eileen is going to have some wigs that I'm going to be selling if people want cute wigs. So she's the wig guru. And so I'm like, you should sell wigs. Because when I did the video announcing the theme, I just got a cheap one off Amazon. And I'm like, man, if I had a much cuter like bob wig, I would totally do it. So Eileen's working on getting us access to some great wigs for this.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it'll be really, really fun. So that's on Sunday night. So you get trade show combined with costume party.
Yeah.
But with that theme, you get to do a mixed media competition. So you take some tips. I have some at lovenails.com if you don't know where to get them. And they're typically, a good length, so that they're long, lets you have a lot of space for art. And you'll take 10 tips and you'll create a design based on the theme. So with the theme being Prohibition or the 20s, you can create a set of 10 nails. And it's a mixed media. So you can use crystals, and you can use, studs, or whatever you want to do to create this masterpiece. And then it gets judged by the techs who have either, the educators who have either been in competitions themselves and judged them, or they've competed, or they've been judges. Allie Baker is top of the game when it comes to competition judging. She's won the Nail Pro Cup multiple times, and she's our competition head coach. So she runs all of the competitions. She makes sure the score sheets are how they're supposed to be. She manages the judges. It's a blind competition. All competitions we have are blind. So you don't have to worry about when you do that set of nails, is that educator going to look at your nails and be like, oh, those are bad? She doesn't know it's your nails, or he, because Jesse might be judging as well. It goes under a curtain, and you're sitting behind a curtain, and your hands are under a curtain. So they have no idea whose hands they are. All the competitions are blind judging. When you turn in your mixed media, I typically am the one that accepts those. I put them on a table, and all it has is a number. Yeah. So when they're judging that, they don't know whose they are as well. So all the competitions are blind. So there's no reason to be afraid to do it, because no one's going to know what you score, what you do, or who it is. So just take a chance. But yeah, you can spend the next couple of months making a masterpiece of tips around the Prohibition theme. And it doesn't cost anything to enter, and you can win money. And you get money cash, like at camp, you get money cash, and it's typically on, I think, Sunday night. And that gives you Monday, so that in Monday morning or at the trade show that night, because you get it before the trade show, you can take that cash and go shop. So it's really fun to be able to do the competitions, and someone gets to win. So why not?
Oh my gosh. And the people that win, I'm not kidding you. It actually gets quite emotional. And every time there's somebody or multiple nail techs that start crying, they get so, because it's so cool and it makes you feel so good. And I'm back there on the table and I'm crying because she's crying. There's no crying in nail bowl. There's lots of crying.
You get a medal, and the medal's engraved, and it has that year's logo on it. So you get a medal to take home and display for your clients. And it's really nice to be able to put that up and display, because then your clients see, hey, what's that from? And if it's a new client and they didn't know you went to nail camp, they're like, so what's that medal for? And you can tell them all about what you did and what you learned. And it gives you a little bit more of an uplift, as far as you're not just a regular nail tech anymore. You're a nail tech who seeks education and wants to do best for your career. And they may see that already, because you may be taking, I think Tiffany Cordoza is doing a social media class. Some of the classes at camp are business classes, learning how to raise your prices efficiently, learning how to manage your time, learning how to get on social media. Some of these classes are available for you at camp. And so you can take those and be able to elevate your career more than just the technical aspect. You can elevate your career on the business side as well.
Yep. It's awesome. It's so well-rounded. I'm proud of you, Jessica. I just love everything you're doing with this. Tell us again the Facebook page, and then tell us the website and where to find you, so that people can get on there and hurry and get those tickets. Because like she said, they're halfway filled on the, English speaking side of it. Anyways, and you want to jump on there because they cap it, and it's amazing. So tell us all the details of where to find everything out again.
All right. So again, the website, nailcamp.org, one word, nailcamp.org. That is the main website. And if you're looking on your phone, I've noticed for some reason, it looks like it's just the logo, and you have to scroll down to actually see more information. I got to figure out how to fix that. I'm only a little technical, so it's a little bit of a project. But all of it's on there, and you can click on the Nail Camp East menu or Nail Camp West menu. If you're interested in coming when it's in Seattle, you can't make it to May, but you want to come when it's outside Seattle, that's Nail Camp West. That has its own drop-down menu. Those classes are still being added, so give it some time, because in the summer, they'll really be updated. Some of the educators who go into East may decide to tweak their classes for West. So it's not as going to be as well updated until the summer. So just understand that. But as far as East goes, in the next 2 days, I'm bugging those educators to get me all those classes. So you go to nailcamp.org to get the information and to register. For the Facebook group, you go to Nail Camp USA and you request to join, and I go through and I can approve it. And that's going to allow you to talk with the other people that are attending. And if you're afraid about camp, like I said, just go on there, say, hey, I'm new. Did anyone else go to camp that, didn't know anybody? And you're going to get all kinds of responses, and you can connect with people before you go. So you don't have to feel like you're completely alone in everything. So the website, the Facebook group, you can contact me, friend me on Facebook, Jessica Briarmoon. I friend lots of nail techs, so then you can chat with me. Or you can hit the contact us page on the Nail Camp website, and that email goes to me as well.
Awesome. Okay, guys, that should cover everything about Nail Camp. And Do it. I'm so excited. I'm so happy you agreed to get on here today. And I just hope it helps to answer a bunch of questions about nail camp. And guys, you can find me at Nails by Becky Bunnell on social media. You can find my online classes at nailteched.com. And don't forget to go to sogelnails.com/contest to enter for today's giveaway. We talked about that at the beginning. And I'm looking forward to camp. I hope to meet you guys all there. And as always, tribe up and slay your day.